The alarm on Ethan Cole's ship beeped loudly, breaking the silence of space. He leaned forward in his chair, eyes narrowing as he checked the monitor. A distress signal was coming from a planet nearby. Vorlus 9, a lawless world filled with criminals and slavers. Ethan sighed. He had promised himself no more hero work. He was just a simple salvager now, flying his old freighter, the Odyssey, across the galaxy, picking up scrap and staying out of trouble. But something about this signal felt urgent. He hesitated for a moment, then flipped a switch. All right, let's see who's in trouble. The ship descended through the thick, dusty atmosphere of Vorlus 9. The place was as bad as he remembered. Broken buildings, smoke rising from distant fires, and the remains of old battles scattered across the land. He followed the signal until he reached a ruined factory near a canyon. Carefully, he set the ship down and grabbed his plasma rifle. "Let's keep this quick," he muttered to himself as he stepped outside. The distress signal led him into the factory's dark hallways, where rusted metal and old machines created an eerie atmosphere. Then he heard it. Whispers and hurried breathing. Ethan raised his rifle and turned the corner. What he saw made him freeze. 4 alien girls huddled together, eyes filled with fear. Each of them was different. One had feline features with golden fur and sharp green eyes. Another had reptilian scales and a warrior's posture. The third had delicate butterfly-like wings that shimmered even in the dim light. The fourth was made of metal, her robotic eyes glowing softly. They weren't just scared. They were hiding from something. Before Ethan could speak, a loud metallic clang echoed through the factory. Heavy footsteps followed. "Find them," a deep, rough voice growled. Ethan's instincts kicked in. He turned back to the girls. "You're in trouble, aren't you?" They didn't answer, but their frightened expressions said enough. Ethan sighed. "Stay behind me." The girls gasped as Ethan stepped forward, his rifle aimed at the shadows. The slavers appeared, 7 of them, armed and dangerous. Their leader, a large, muscular alien with dark armor, grinned. "Well, well, a human." The alien chuckled. "Walk away, human. This isn't your fight." Ethan smirked. "You see, I was thinking the same thing. But then I realized something." He pointed at the girls. "You're the kind of scum that sells innocent people like cargo." The alien laughed. "And what do you plan to do about it?" Ethan's smile disappeared. He pulled the trigger. The first plasma shot hit one of the slavers in the chest, sending him crashing to the ground. Before the others could react, Ethan dived behind a metal crate, firing again. Chaos exploded in the factory. The slavers shot back, but Ethan was too fast. Years of military training kicked in. Move, shoot, cover, repeat. He took down another enemy with a well-placed shot to the leg, then knocked over a pile of crates, sending metal crashing onto 2 more. One of the slavers tried to grab one of the girls, the feline one with golden fur. She let out a sharp hiss, dodging his grip, but she was cornered. Ethan didn't hesitate. He ran forward, tackled the slaver to the ground, and slammed his rifle against his helmet. The alien fell, unconscious. The leader of the slavers growled. Enough of this. He pulled out a large energy weapon, aiming it at Ethan. Ethan barely had time to react before the butterfly-winged girl lifted her hands. A soft, glowing light spread through the air, and suddenly, the slaver's gun malfunctioned, sparking and shutting down. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Psychic abilities. Interesting. Before the slaver could recover, the reptilian girl let out a roar and slammed her fist into his face, sending him flying backward. Ethan stared. "Remind me never to make you mad," he muttered. The last remaining slaver saw his team defeated and ran for the exit. Ethan aimed his rifle but hesitated. "Let him go," the robotic girl said, her voice calm but firm. "His fear will send a message." Ethan lowered his weapon. Smart thinking. The battle was over. The factory was silent again, except for the heavy breathing of the rescued girls. Ethan turned to them, scanning their faces. "All right, I just saved your lives. Who are you?" The feline girl, still catching her breath, spoke first. "My name is Lyra." The reptilian girl crossed her arms. "Saha." The winged girl gave a small smile. "Nia." The robotic girl nodded. "You may call me Terry." Ethan sighed, rubbing his neck. "All right, Lyra, Saha, Nia, Terry. What now?" The four girls exchanged glances. Then Lyra, the feline one, stepped forward. "You saved us. That means we belong to you now." Ethan blinked. "Wait, what?" The girls nodded in agreement. The human groaned, looking up at the dark factory ceiling. "I just wanted an easy job," he muttered. Far above them, in the skies of Vorlus 9, a large battleship hovered, its sensors scanning for something or someone. Their troubles were far from over. Ethan Cole sighed as he looked at the four alien girls standing in front of him. The battle in the ruined factory was over, but his troubles had just begun. "You saved us," Lyra, the feline-like alien, repeated. Her green eyes gleamed with admiration. "That means we belong to you now." Ethan rubbed his forehead. "Listen, that's not how things work." Saha, the tall reptilian warrior, crossed her arms. "In my culture, if someone risks their life for you, you follow them. It is an honor." The delicate Nia, with her glowing butterfly-like wings, nodded. "And in my world, a protector is also a guide. You are now our guide." Even the robotic girl, Terry, spoke in her calm, synthetic voice. "I have run multiple calculations. You are our best chance at survival." Ethan groaned. "Great. Now I have four alien girls who think I'm their guardian." He checked his wrist communicator. "We need to get out of here. That slaver who ran away will bring reinforcements." As if on cue, a deep rumbling sound echoed through the sky. Ethan's sharp eyes caught the sight of a massive battleship hovering above the city. "They found us," he muttered. The girls stiffened. Lyra's ears twitched. "They're scanning the area." Saha growled. "We must leave now." Ethan didn't need to be told twice. "Follow me." He led them through the dark alleys of the ruined city. The streets were filled with broken vehicles, shattered glass, and rusted metal. The air smelled of smoke and decay. Overhead, searchlights from the battleship swept the ground, looking for them. Lyra moved silently beside Ethan, her feline instincts making her footsteps light. Nia hovered slightly above the ground, her wings barely making a sound. Terry scanned ahead with her robotic vision, while Saha kept to the back, ready for a fight. They were getting close to Ethan's ship when suddenly a spotlight fell directly on them. "Run," Ethan shouted. The ground shook as large mechanical drones dropped from the sky. They were heavily armored, with glowing red eyes and mounted plasma cannons. One of the drones aimed at Ethan. The bright blue laser fired. Ethan barely dodged, rolling behind a wrecked vehicle. "Go, get to the ship." The girls sprinted toward the Odyssey, while Ethan fired his plasma rifle, hitting a drone in the sensor. Sparks flew, and it crashed to the ground. But more were coming. Saha roared, charging at a drone. She grabbed its metal arm and ripped it off with pure strength. Sparks and oil splattered as she tossed the drone aside like a toy. Lyra leaped onto another drone, slashing its wires with her claws. It crashed into a wall, smoking. Nia lifted her hands, and a soft golden glow surrounded them. The remaining drones froze in midair, their systems shutting down. Ethan whistled. "That's a neat trick." Nia smiled shyly. "I can disable technology for a few seconds. Then let's not waste time." The five of them sprinted toward the ship. The Odyssey stood waiting, a worn-out but sturdy freighter, painted black and silver. Its loading ramp was already down. More drones poured in from all sides. Terry, the robotic girl, suddenly jumped forward with unnatural speed. She plugged her fingers into a nearby control panel, her eyes glowing blue. "Shutting down enemy drones. Now." The drones glitched and collapsed, their power draining instantly. Ethan grinned. Remind me to thank you later. They rushed up the ramp. Ethan slammed the emergency launch button. The ship's engines roared to life. But before they could take off, the battleship above fired a missile straight at them. Ethan grabbed the controls. Hold on. The Odyssey blasted upward just as the missile hit the ground behind them, sending a fiery explosion through the ruins. Inside the cockpit, alarms blared. The battleship was chasing them, its cannons charging up for another shot. Can this thing go any faster? Lyra asked, gripping the seat. I'm working on it. Ethan yelled, flipping switches. The ship zigzagged through the sky, dodging plasma fire. Enemy locking onto us, Terry reported. Evasive maneuvers required. I know. Ethan's hands flew over the controls. Nia, can you mess with their systems? I'll try. Nia pressed her hands together, and a faint glow spread through the cockpit. For a brief moment, the battleship's lights flickered. Ethan saw his chance. He pulled the ship into a sharp turn, diving into a dense asteroid field nearby. The battleship followed, but the massive vessel was too large to navigate the rocks. The Odyssey, being smaller and faster, weaved between the asteroids with precision. The enemy ship tried to fire, but instead, it crashed into an asteroid, damaging its side. Ha! That's what you get for chasing a human, Ethan said with a smirk. Moments later, the Odyssey shot into hyperspace, escaping into the vast darkness of space. Silence filled the cockpit. Ethan exhaled, leaning back in his chair. Well, that was fun. The girls looked at him in amazement. Lyra's tail flicked. That was the most insane escape I've ever seen. Saha grinned. You fight like a Drakari warrior. Nia gave him a soft smile. Thank you. Again. Terry simply nodded. You are statistically impressive. Ethan smirked. Yeah, well, let's not make this a habit. But deep down, he knew something had changed. He wasn't just a lone salvager anymore. These 4 aliens, so different, yet united by fate, were now his crew. And whether he liked it or not, this was just the beginning of their adventure. Ethan Cole leaned back in his pilot's seat, letting out a long breath. The Odyssey was now safely drifting through hyperspace, far away from the slaver battleship. They had escaped for now. Behind him, the 4 alien girls were still staring at him like he had just done something impossible. That was unbelievable, Lyra said, her feline tail flicking excitedly. I've seen skilled pilots before, but you're something else. Saha, the reptilian warrior, grunted in agreement. Few can escape a locked-on battleship like that. She crossed her arms. You fight and fly like a Drakari warrior. It is impressive. Ethan chuckled, shaking his head. Yeah, well, I prefer not getting shot at in the first place. Tari, the robotic girl, tilted her head. Your quick decision-making and adaptability have increased our survival chances significantly. Nia, the delicate winged alien, gave a soft smile. And you're kind. You didn't have to save us, but you did. Ethan sighed. Look, I'm no hero. I just saw people in trouble and did what I could. Lyra smirked. That's exactly why we think you're special. Ethan ran a hand through his hair. He wasn't used to this, being admired. He was just a human trying to survive in a galaxy that didn't care about his kind. But these girls, they looked at him differently. All right, he said, standing up. First things first, we need to figure out what to do next. He turned to them. Do any of you have a home to go back to? Silence filled the cockpit. The girls exchanged uneasy glances. Saha's claws tapped against her arm. I cannot return. My clan was wiped out in a war. I have no home left. Lyra's ears drooped slightly. I ran away from my people. They wouldn't accept me anymore. Nia lowered her gaze. My planet is under occupation. If I go back, I will be captured again. Terry simply stated, I was created to serve, but I seek freedom. I cannot return. Ethan sighed. Great. He had rescued 4 aliens who had nowhere to go. Well, he muttered, scratching his chin. Looks like you're stuck with me for now. Lyra grinned. I was hoping you'd say that. A new life on the ship. Over the next few hours, the girls settled into the Odyssey, turning the cargo bay into a makeshift living space. Lyra stretched out on a crate, making herself comfortable. This place needs some decorating. Saha examined the weapons rack, nodding in approval. At least you have good weapons. Terry connected herself to the ship's system, scanning it. Several components are outdated. I can make improvements. Nia floated near the table, watching Ethan as he worked on the navigation system. You are different from others I've met, she said softly. Ethan looked at her. How so? She hesitated, then said, most people in the galaxy think only of themselves. You risk your life for strangers. Ethan shrugged. Maybe I'm just bad at making smart decisions. Nia giggled. Or maybe humans are special. Ethan didn't respond. He had always heard that humans were weak compared to other species, not as strong as the Drakari, not as fast as the Nixari, not as advanced as the Cynthians. But something about the way Nia said it made him wonder, what if she was right? A deadly pursuer. Just as things were starting to feel normal, a loud warning beep filled the cockpit. Ethan jumped up, checking the scanners. His stomach dropped. A bounty alert. On him. A red message flashed on the screen. Wanted, Ethan Cole. Crime. Inti Orvidi or Ingwith. Noble AFFers. Reward, 500,000 credits. Dead or alive. Lyra's eyes widened. That's a huge bounty. Saha growled. That means bounty hunters will be after you. Ethan cursed under his breath. He should have known saving the girls would come at a price. The slaver lord must have put a bounty on him for ruining his plans. Terry's robotic eyes glowed. We must leave this sector immediately. Many will try to claim this bounty. Ethan gritted his teeth. Yeah, no kidding. Before he could react, the ship's comm system activated. A cold, robotic voice echoed through the speakers. Ethan Cole. Ethan's fingers tightened on the controls. He knew that voice. You have something that belongs to me. On the screen, a figure appeared, a towering alien in black armor, his red cybernetic eye glowing menacingly. Ethan clenched his jaw. Zarek. Zarek was one of the most feared bounty hunters in the galaxy. Fast, ruthless, and never failing a contract. The bounty hunter smirked. Surrender now, and I might let you live. Ethan chuckled dryly. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Zarek's smirk vanished. Then I'll take you the hard way. The transmission cut off. A second later, an enemy ship appeared on the radar, fast, heavily armed, and heading straight for them. Saha cracked her knuckles. Finally, a real fight. Lyra grinned. I hope you have a plan, human. Ethan took a deep breath, hands tightening around the controls. Yeah. Step 1. Don't die. The Odyssey veered hard to the right as laser fire rained down on them. The chase had begun. Ethan gritted his teeth as he pushed the Odyssey into a sharp turn, barely avoiding the laser fire streaking past the ship. He's fast, Lyra shouted, gripping the edge of her seat. Saha growled. Then we must be faster. The enemy ship, a sleek black predator built for speed and destruction, stayed close behind them. Inside, Zarek, the ruthless bounty hunter, watched his prey with cold precision. His cybernetic eye locked onto the Odyssey as his fingers hovered over the ship's weapons. Ethan yanked the control stick, forcing the Odyssey into a spiral. Hold on. The ship twisted through space, dodging another barrage of plasma fire. The engines roared as Ethan pushed them to their limits. Shields at 60%. Tari reported, her robotic voice calm despite the chaos. Not great, Ethan muttered. Ideas? Nea's wings fluttered nervously. I could try disrupting his ship's systems, but only for a few seconds. That might be all we need, Ethan said. Do it. Nia closed her eyes, and a faint golden glow surrounded her hands. Energy rippled through the air, reaching out toward Zarek's ship. For a brief moment, the enemy ship's lights flickered. Now, Lyra yelled. Ethan didn't waste a second. He slammed the thrusters, sending the Odyssey diving toward a nearby asteroid field. Zarek cursed as his ship's systems rebooted, but he recovered fast. His ship was built for hunting, and no prey had ever escaped him before. Run all you want, Cole, Zarek muttered. He powered up his tracking missiles. You can't hide. Into the asteroids. The Odyssey weaved through the massive floating rocks, some the size of small moons. Ethan's hands were steady on the controls, his eyes sharp. He had survived worse odds before. These asteroids are unstable, Tari warned. A direct hit could be fatal. Noted, Ethan said. Saha, get on the rear cannons. If he gets too close, blast him. Saha grinned. Finally, she sprinted to the gunner's seat and powered up the turrets. Zarek's ship emerged from the asteroid field entrance, missiles locking onto the Odyssey. Incoming, Lyra shouted. Ethan jerked the ship sideways, dodging the first missile. It smashed into an asteroid, creating a massive explosion. But the second missile kept coming. Got it, Saha growled. She fired the rear turret, hitting the missile dead on. It exploded in a bright flash. Nice shot, Ethan called. Saha smirked. Of course. Zarek growled in frustration. This was taking too long. He activated his ship's cutting-edge AI. Predict their movements, he ordered. The AI responded instantly, analyzing Ethan's flying patterns. Within seconds, Zarek's ship adjusted, taking a direct shortcut through the asteroids. Ethan's eyes widened. He's adapting. New plan? Lyra asked. Ethan's mind raced. Then he smirked. Yeah, we make him regret it. The trap. Ethan spotted a cluster of massive asteroids spinning dangerously close together. A death trap for any ship foolish enough to enter. Unless you were crazy. Everyone, hold tight, Ethan shouted. The Odyssey dove straight into the chaos, weaving between spinning rocks that could crush them instantly. Are you insane? Lyra yelped. Saha grinned. I like it. Behind them, Zarek frowned. Foolish. His ship followed, relying on its advanced AI to navigate. But Ethan had been flying manually, reading the natural flow of the asteroids. And he saw an opening Zarek's AI couldn't. At the last second, Ethan cut the engines and spun the ship sideways, slipping through a tiny gap between two colliding asteroids. Zarek's AI didn't predict it in time. Crash. A massive asteroid slammed into Zarek's ship, sending it spinning uncontrollably. Alarms blared as damage reports flashed across his screen. Ethan grinned. Told you not to chase me. Zarek snarled but knew he had lost, for now. With his ship heavily damaged, he had no choice but to retreat. The Odyssey shot out of the asteroid field, safe once more. A moment of peace. The crew let out a collective sigh of relief. That was incredible, Nea said softly. You truly are different, Ethan. Ethan shrugged. Just doing what I do best, staying alive. Terry looked at the scanners. Zarek is retreating, but he will return. Ethan nodded. I know, but next time, we'll be ready. Lyra grinned. I like the sound of that. Saha cracked her knuckles. Let him come. I'll be waiting. Ethan glanced at his new crew and smirked. He had started this journey alone. But now, he wasn't just a rogue pilot anymore. He was a leader. And the galaxy was about to learn why you never underestimate a human. Ethan leaned back in the pilot's seat, exhaling deeply. The Odyssey had escaped the asteroid field, and for now, There were no enemy ships on the radar, but he knew better than to relax completely. Zarek wasn't the type to give up easily. Behind him, Lyra stretched and smirked. That was the craziest flight I've ever experienced. Saha nodded, arms crossed. A true warrior's escape. I respect that. Ethan chuckled. I'll take that as a compliment. Nia fluttered closer, concern in her glowing eyes. But what now? We're still being hunted. Tari, connected to the ship's systems, spoke in her calm robotic voice. We require a safe place to repair and refuel. The closest neutral station is Torvin Outpost. Ethan's brow furrowed. Torvin, huh? That place is crawling with criminals and bounty hunters. Not exactly safe. Saha smirked. Then it's perfect. No one will expect us to hide in a den of criminals. Ethan sighed. Fine. Set a course for Torvin Outpost. But stay alert. If we run into trouble, we leave immediately. Arrival at Torvin Outpost. Torvin Outpost was a floating city in deep space, home to smugglers, traders, and outlaws. Bright neon signs flickered over dark metal streets, and the air smelled of fuel, spice, and danger. The Odyssey landed on a private docking bay. As the crew stepped out, Ethan turned to them. Stick together. This place isn't friendly. Lyra smirked. Don't worry, we can handle ourselves. They walked through the bustling marketplace, scanning for supplies. Naya stayed close to Ethan, eyes darting around nervously. I don't like this place. You're not alone, Ethan muttered. Just then, a tall, well-dressed alien approached them. His skin was dark blue, his eyes sharp and calculating. Ethan Cole, the alien said with a knowing smile. I've been expecting you. Ethan tensed. Do I know you? The alien chuckled. Not yet, but I know of you. The human pilot who angered the wrong people. Lyra's ears twitched. Who are you? The alien bowed slightly. I am Varric Wren, an information broker, and I have a business proposal for you. Ethan crossed his arms. Not interested. Ah, but you will be, Varric said, his grin widening. Because I have something you need, a way to erase your bounty. Silence. Ethan narrowed his eyes. I'm listening. The offer. Varric led them to a quiet corner of the market, away from prying ears. He tapped on a small holo device, and a galactic map appeared. The bounty on you was placed by Lord Kravis, a powerful noble who profits from the slave trade. Saha growled at the name. A dishonorable monster. Varric nodded. Indeed. But I have good news. Kravis has an enemy. A rival noble named Lady Vena. She wants Kravis eliminated, and she's willing to make a deal. Ethan frowned. You're saying, if I take out Kravis, she'll remove my bounty. Exactly, Varric confirmed. And as a bonus, she'll reward you with a ship upgrade and enough credits to disappear. Lyra whistled. That's a tempting offer. But dangerous, Nea whispered. Kravis is powerful. Terry calculated. Success probability, 32% without additional resources. Ethan leaned against a crate, thinking. Taking down a galactic noble was no small task. It was risky. But if they didn't do something, Zarek and other bounty hunters would keep coming. Saha grinned. I say we do it. Warriors do not run from battle. Ethan sighed. Yeah, well, I'm not a warrior. He looked at Varric. Where is Kravis now? Varric smirked, pressing a button on his holo device. A new image appeared. A massive luxury ship orbiting a distant moon. Kravis is holding a private auction tomorrow night on his cruiser, the Silver Serpent. That's your chance. Ethan rubbed his temples. So let me get this straight. You want us to infiltrate a heavily guarded ship, assassinate a crime lord, and escape. Varric's smile didn't fade. Yes. Lyra laughed. Sounds fun. Ethan groaned. Of course you'd say that. A risky decision. The group returned to the Odyssey, the weight of the decision hanging in the air. Nia sat beside Ethan. Are we really doing this? Ethan sighed. Do we have a choice? If we don't deal with Kravis, we'll be running forever. Terry nodded. Probability of survival increases if we plan strategically. Saha cracked her knuckles. I say we hit hard and fast. Lyra grinned. We'll need disguises. Maybe we sneak in as guests. Ethan exhaled, looking at his crew. A few days ago, he was just another rogue pilot. Now, he was planning to take down one of the most powerful criminals in the galaxy. All right, he said. We do this right. No mistakes. We get in, take out Kravis, and get out alive. The crew nodded in agreement. Ethan glanced at the stars. Tomorrow night would change everything. The Odyssey drifted silently through space, its lights dimmed as it approached the massive luxury cruiser, the Silver Serpent. The ship was a floating palace, elegant, bright, and heavily guarded. Inside, Lord Kravis was hosting his secret auction, selling rare artifacts, weapons, and even people. Ethan adjusted his disguise. A sleek black suit with a hidden weapon holster. All right, everyone knows the plan. Lyra smirked, straightening her elegant red dress. Sneak in, locate Kravis, and take him out. Easy. Saha, dressed as a security officer, rolled her shoulders. If things go wrong, we fight our way out. Nia, wearing a shimmering blue cloak, looked nervous. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Terry, who had connected herself to the Odyssey's systems, spoke through a small earpiece. I have hacked into the cruiser's security. You have exactly 20 minutes before someone notices the breach. Ethan nodded. Then let's move fast. The group walked toward the private docking bay, blending in with the guests arriving for the auction. Golden chandeliers hung from the ceiling, and soft music played in the background. Guards stood at every corner, their weapons hidden but ready. A large alien host greeted them. Welcome to the Silver Serpent. Enjoy the event. Ethan forced a smile and walked inside. The mission had begun. Hunting the target. The auction hall was filled with rich and dangerous people from across the galaxy. Some laughed, others whispered secret deals. On stage, a rare plasma sword was being auctioned. Ethan scanned the room. Where's Kravis? Terry responded through his earpiece. Kravis is in the VIP lounge. Top floor. Private guards are everywhere. Saha grinned. Sounds like fun. Ethan sighed. Lyra, Nia, stay here and watch for trouble. Saha, you're with me. We're getting upstairs. Lyra smirked. Try not to cause an explosion. Ethan and Saha moved toward the VIP section, but two large guards blocked the entrance. No entry without clearance, one guard said. Ethan sighed and pressed a small device on his wrist. Instantly, a loud alarm rang through the ship. What was that? Guests panicked. Terry's voice came through. Distraction activated. You have 60 seconds. The guards turned to check the security panels. That was all Ethan needed. He moved fast. A single punch knocked one guard unconscious. Saha grabbed the other, slamming him against the wall. Too easy, she muttered. They stepped through the doors, heading for Kravis's private lounge. Confrontation. Lord Kravis was a massive alien with golden rings on his fingers and cruel, black eyes. He sat on a throne-like chair, watching the chaos outside on a holoscreen. So, the human finally arrives. Kravis chuckled, turning toward Ethan. Ethan pulled out his blaster. You put a bounty on me. Bad move. Kravis smirked. You think I fear you. I control this ship. You are trapped. Saha stepped forward. Not for long. Kravis raised a hand. Instantly, 10 armed guards burst into the room, weapons aimed at Ethan and Saha. Ethan sighed. Yeah, I was expecting that. Kravis laughed. Foolish human. Do you have any last words? Ethan smirked. Just one. He pressed a button on his belt. Boom. The lights flickered as a massive explosion rocked the ship. Smoke filled the room. Saha moved first, grabbing a guard and throwing him across the room. Ethan rolled behind a table, firing his blaster. Kravis roared, "Kill them! Escape or die!" Downstairs, Lyra and Nia watched as the ship shook violently. Lyra smirked. "That's our cue." She grabbed a blaster from a stunned guard and fired at the ceiling, causing panic in the auction hall. Nia used her energy powers, creating a bright flash to blind the guards. They ran toward the docking bay. Back in the VIP lounge, Ethan dodged plasma fire, sliding across the floor. Saha fought like a wild warrior, knocking out guards left and right. Terry's voice came through. "Ethan, the ship is locking down. If you don't leave in 2 minutes, you'll be trapped." Ethan cursed. "Saha, time to go." Saha punched one last guard before running with Ethan toward the exit. Kravis, bleeding but alive, growled, "You can't escape me, human." Ethan turned, aimed his blaster, and fired. The shot hit a fuel pipe behind Kravis. Boom! The room erupted in flames as Ethan and Saha sprinted down the hall. Lyra, Nia, and Terry were already at the docking bay, fighting off remaining guards. Ethan shouted, "Everyone on board, now." The crew rushed inside the Odyssey, and Ethan jumped into the pilot's seat. Guards fired at the ship as it lifted off, but Ethan punched the thrusters to full power. The Odyssey shot out of the docking bay just as the Silver Serpent exploded behind them. Lord Kravis was gone. Victory and questions. Inside the ship, the crew sat in silence, catching their breath. Saha grinned. That was fun. Nia sighed. It was terrifying. Lyra smirked. Come on, you have to admit, it was kind of exciting. Ethan leaned back in his seat, exhaling. We did it. Kravis is dead. The bounty should be gone soon. Terry confirmed. Varric has sent confirmation. Lady Vena is erasing your bounty as we speak. Ethan closed his eyes. For the first time in a long time, he was free. But something in his gut told him this wasn't over. The Odyssey drifted through space, away from the burning remains of the Silver Serpent. The crew sat in silence, the weight of their mission finally settling in. They had done the impossible, taken down Lord Kravis, and escaped with their lives. Ethan leaned back in the pilot's seat, exhaling. The bounty on his head would soon be erased. They were finally free. Saha stretched, a proud grin on her face. That was a glorious battle. Lyra chuckled. Glorious. We almost died. Nia, still shaken, hugged her knees. I'm just glad it's over. Terry's voice echoed from the ship's speakers. Incoming transmission from Varric Wren. Ethan frowned. Put it through. The holographic image of Varric Wren, the mysterious information broker, flickered to life. He wore his usual smug smile. Well done, Captain Ethan, Varric said. Kravis is gone, and as promised, Lady Vena has removed your bounty. Ethan nodded. Good. Now we disappear. Varric raised an eyebrow. Disappear. That would be a waste of your talents. Lyra smirked. We're not for sale, Varric. Varric chuckled. Relax. I simply want to offer a new opportunity. Ethan sighed. We're listening. A dangerous offer. Varric tapped his holo device, and a new map appeared, a star system deep in uncharted space. This, Varric said, is the Xarian system. It holds something valuable, something even Kravis was searching for. Saha leaned forward. And what exactly is there? Varric's smile faded. A lost human colony. Silence. Ethan's eyes widened. What? Varric nodded. Hundreds of years ago, during early space exploration, a human fleet vanished. Some believe they were destroyed, but I found evidence that they survived. In Xarian. Nia whispered, a hidden human colony. Varric continued, if this is true, it could change everything. Humanity has no true home in the galaxy. We're scattered, outnumbered. But if an entire lost civilization exists, They could be powerful allies. Ethan frowned. And what's the catch? Varric smirked. Smart man. The catch is you won't be the only ones looking. Others, powerful people, have also learned about this. If you don't find them first, someone else will. Lyra crossed her arms. And you just want us to find them. No tricks. Varric raised a hand. No tricks. I just want the truth. If you find them, I expect a small cut of whatever treasure they may have. Ethan exhaled, thinking. A lost human colony. If it was real, it could change history. But it also meant new dangers, new enemies. He glanced at his crew. They had been through so much already. Maybe they deserved rest. Maybe they should finally live in peace. But then again, a grin slowly spread across his face. We'll need supplies, weapons, and a faster ship. Varric chuckled. I thought you might say that. The crew's decision. After the transmission ended, the crew gathered in the common room. Saha smirked. I say we do it. A lost human colony. That's an adventure worth taking. Lyra leaned back. It's risky. But when have we ever played it safe? Nia hesitated. I don't know. What if it's a trap? Terry spoke up. Probability of deception is 23%. However, if the colony exists, our mission could bring great benefits. Ethan looked around the table. I won't force anyone. If you want to leave, I understand. Silence. Then, Lyra smirked. Leave and miss all the fun. Not happening. Saha laughed. I go where the battle takes me. Nia took a deep breath. I trust you, Ethan. Terry simply said, calculating optimal course now. Ethan smiled. His crew was with him. He turned toward the cockpit. All right then. Set a course for the Xarian system. Let's go make history. The Odyssey's engines roared to life, and in the blink of an eye, they vanished into hyperspace. A new adventure had begun.